Hello, beautiful souls. Brittany here. Thank you for being with me today and clicking on this video. I know your time is very precious, so I appreciate you taking your time out to be with me today. Today is based on a training that I did in my Whole and Healthy Living group that is part of my Whole and Healthy Kitchen community. We are on Facebook, and every Friday I offer free coaching Friday, and they tell me what they want to know and I offer it. And the people in there are like you and me. The majority of them are Course in Miracles students. So they asked this week to know how to train their mind. Like, what is mind? What's going on in my psyche? And how is it that mind training can lead to health and happiness and freedom and everything that we know God promises us? So as you guys know, this is a topic that lights me up and just sets my soul on fire. So I'm really happy to make this video today. The thing is that I had already recorded a video with my community, and it was very back and forth. People asked questions, I got to share with them, but I wanted to make a video for you that was just whole and complete and just a gift from my heart to yours. So you will notice that today we go through some diagrams that I drew that are based on NLP. This one is actually adapted from Tad James, NLP communication, but I added some things on it, okay? So I'm going to be going through this. We'll be going through the subconscious mind. We'll be going through a holy mind, and we'll step by step be leading you through what's going on inside your inner world. And then at the same time, I'm going to introduce you to some mind training tools. Already you guys have the best one on the planet, which is the A Course in Miracles, and we are to apply one lesson to our thinking every single day for 365 days. For the rest of our life. Let's get real. But today I also want to offer you some more tools that you can just kind of slip in your toolbox, put in your back pocket, and use in any time you need. So this video is helpful, it's practical. I try and make it as absorbable as possible, so feel free to take a listen. You can write in your journal if you want, take some notes, but I do have links to this below, so it's not like you have to draw this out or anything like that. You can just print it out if you would like, for your reference. And even if you feel like you're a little bit busy to sit down and watch this whole thing, feel free to put it in your ear. You can go for a walk, you could do your dishes, clean the house. I do that a lot with training material. So that's it, you guys. This is my intro to you. If you want to reach out to me, I've got my links below. Everything I mentioned in this video has links below. You can even have the links below to come join us in my Facebook group. I would love to see you in there and have it be a little bit more of an intimate experience with you. But that is all. So enjoy this and let me know in the comments below what stood out to you the most. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and perhaps share this with anybody that you think it would benefit. Thank you for being here. I love you. Have a beautiful day. See you soon. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to today's video. I am Britney, and as you can see from above, we are talking about mind. What is mind? What is mind training? And how can mind training lead to healing? Not just a mental healing, but emotional, spiritual, physical healing as well. So thank you for being here. I feel like today's video is not only going to be a training, like an educational training that I encourage you get out some notebooks and take some notes, but it's also going to be energetically healing. I have the intention of holding the space of healing energy, and I find that when people work with me or they come into my presence, that if they are open, if they are willing, if they are allowing, that they can receive that energy as I talk and as I transmit these ideas, so that you can receive them inside of yourself and feel your own energetic upgrade and uplift. So before I dive into the details of today, I'm going to be going through some diagrams showing you about how the mind works and offering you some tools for mind training that you can use and apply in your everyday life. Before we do that, I want us to just take a moment and come here now. Whether you are watching this and you can see me, or you have this in your earbud and you're doing, let's say some dishes or some cooking, or you're in your car, wherever you are, know that even if your physical body is moving, you internally can become still. So I just want you to take a moment to be here and be now as we set our intention together to receive what is most helpful, to learn, to deepen our understanding of our own mind, deepen our understanding of mind training, that we can apply it to our own mindset and our everyday life, so that we can bring about more calm and peace and a feeling of connection and certainty and purpose and joy that is our birthright. Right after this, I'm going to express to you why mind training is important. But until then, let's just breathe for a minute. Beautiful. So we open to Spirit's words and teachings today as it flows through me and through you. So the one place that I wanted to start is, who needs mind training? Why do we need mind training? Okay, so mind training is needed for anyone who, let's say, beats up on themselves, has really negative self-talk, has poor habits, maybe addictions, that they feel that they are constantly worried about the future, or they're fearing the past, or even fearing repeating the past, that they're just like scattered all over the place, low self-confidence, low self-worth, that they doubt, that they really fear, or they get angry quickly, or they attack others or themselves. Judgment, selfishness, all of these things are why we need mind training. And the cool thing is that we all struggle with everything that I listed, because it's locked in to the human condition. It's locked in to the egoic consciousness. And when we are born in this world, we have an ego. So we have to deal with that ego. We have to learn how to tame that ego. We have to learn how to undo that ego, especially if you want to love yourself and you want to know yourself and you want to be of service to humanity and you want to fulfill your purpose and you want to be healthy and you want to know yourself as whole. If you want all these things, you've got to train your mind. There is no way around it. You can read as many books as you can, do all the meditations, go to all the workshops, do all the things, but unless you actively train your mind on a daily and consistent basis, your peace that you feel in those workshops or with those people will be temporary. And my goal with you and with all of my clients and students is to have you have a consistent experience of peace and self-worth, because you are locked into the energy and the frequency of your truth and of your wholeness and of what exists before space-time even began. Okay, so let's dive in today about how to train your mind. Okay, so the way that we want to train our mind is to be educated, to be educated on what's going on inside your inner world, educated both about the egoic consciousness as well as Christ consciousness, so that we know what we're deciding between and know what we're training our mind to. Educating, and then also practicing, like I just said, like practicing every single day, these tips that are going to be given you today. So I want to show you this diagram. This is something that I was introduced to when I first got my NLP training over 10 years ago, but I've really adapted it to be more inclusive of the superconscious as well as the conscious and the subconscious, so that we really are in connection with our whole mind and our whole being, and not just understanding how the ego framework works, which is essential first before we can choose again and have another experience of mind. But let's look at this, okay, y'all? And don't worry, I will take pictures of this and I will have links to it below. I have all links below to what I'm referencing, so you don't have to write this down or anything like that. Just pay attention and listen, and if you can see it, great. If not, I'm going to try and explain it to the best of my ability if you're just listening today. So this is obviously, to the best of my ability, the template of a face. This is representative of like looking out, like perception onto the world. So over here is like the conscious world. So this is how we are taking in the things that happen in our world. So it's called like, our perception. So you'll notice over here in my little note, I don't know if you knew this, but did you know that we are taking in 2 million bits of information per second? 2 million bits. Because think about it, you're perceiving the world through the senses of the body. So you take it in through the sight, through your touch, to your smell, to your taste, to your feeling, kinesthetic, right? So you have all these ways of perceiving the world, and they are taking in 2 million bits of information per second. So how are we supposed to grapple with that? How are we supposed to deal with so much information bombarding us at one time if we didn't have a filtration system? We do have a filtration system. Look over here. This is all of the filters that exist within our own psyche, within our own consciousness. My makeup is different than your makeup. Your makeup is different than your partner's makeup. His makeup is different than another person, your neighbor's makeup. Everybody's inner world is different based on their upbringing. So everything that exists in this like filtration system are, you know, what you learn from your parents, what you learn from your siblings, from the media, from religion, from school, from trial and error. This is where all our attitudes are. This is where all our values are, our belief systems are. This is where, you know, our language and our memories exist. This is where everything in time space that we learned in time space resides. And as you can imagine, it can get pretty clouded in there. It can be pretty cluttered and a little bit confusing. But don't worry, the ego mind has a plan. And so what it does is when you're taking in these senses of the body, the 2 million bits per second, what it's doing is it's either deleting things, like not even paying attention to what's coming in, completely deleting, or it's distorting, like changing it to suit its own perception, or it is generalizing, just giving a blanket over top of whatever comes in. Clearly, that may not be the most accurate approach to perceiving, but it is what every single person on the face of the planet learns. So you're not alone here. It's not like you're the only crazy one. I'm crazy too, until I've learned to train my mind and I'm, you know, overcoming those crazy bits, but they exist for all of us, okay? So then what happens based on this filtration system and everything that is stored in here, it becomes an internal representation of who you think you are. That is where your identity comes from. It's tied in with your personality, all of your past, all of your beliefs, all of everything that you grew up with, internal representation of who you think you are. So just notice that this becomes your identity, your way of seeing yourself at first. That then becomes your state. So basically your emotions, right? Like our internal representations impact our state, how we feel in our body, energetically, how we are, and just basically like how we show up in our daily life. That also affects our physiology, which is like our cells, the actual physical makeup of the cells, the molecules, even the DNA. All of these things can change and shift when we learn how to train our mind and not only be run based on the past programming, but to be run by something greater than ourselves. Okay, so everything, the internal representation, identity, your state, how you show up in the world emotionally, as well as your physiology, all can shift, change, transform, undo, reinterpret, everything can shift and change. That's good news. So when I say something like, you know, your thoughts create things and that you are responsible for what happens in your life, this isn't something to make you feel guilty. Okay, this isn't something to make you feel bad or feel shameful, even though ego will want you to, okay? It is to make you realize that you have a power. You have a power to change. You have a power to change how you think. You have a power to change how you see, okay? Because if we just go to how I'm feeling, like our behavior, I'm over here in behavior now. So if I just want to change my health, if I want to change my relationship to food, if I want to change my relationship to my partner, if I want to change just having a relationship period, if I want to change, like have a purpose, if I want to have more joy and you know, be able to do creative endeavors and, you know, shift up my habits, and I want to affect anything in form, in behavior, it's all tied into our internal way of perceiving the world. I can't change my behavior unless I change my language and how I talk to myself. I can't change my behavior unless I change my identity and who I think I am and what I'm capable of. I can't change my behavior unless I change my physiology, my energy, to match what it is that I want to attract and bring to me. So I can't just say, you know, I want to work on this level and teach you how to cook and, you know, teach you all these self-care things without teaching you how your mind works. Like, you just can't. This is where everything starts. This is the cause. Everything out here is the effect. Change the cause, the effect changes. So the reason why this is so important is because you can change these things, which will change this thing, by keeping in mind that we are also part of a super conscious reality. So conscious over here, all of these things inside the mind become subconscious, which is like the storage container of everything we learned, felt, experienced, saw, observed in our life, and accepted, you know, not deleted, but accepted or distorted or generalized. We also have the superconscious, and the superconscious is synonymous with God, or it's synonymous with creator, or it's synonymous with love, or it's synonymous with universal intelligence. Whatever word you want to give on it works for you. I like saying superconscious or God, or love, or all of them, whatever. I say all of them too. Okay, so this is also where the remembrance of life eternal comes in, where the infinite comes in, where wholeness comes in, where, like I said, love comes in. And this is also where we have a different system, like a different makeup. Instead of the insides being so busy and so much going on based on what we learned in the past, and even what all our ancestors learned that are caught up in our DNA, let's switch over to the other side. And I'm going to show you what happens when you learn to train your mind, undo this, clear out this, what happens inside of ourselves when we actually do the work of mind training, which will be the second thing that I'll show you after this. This becomes our internal representation. This becomes how we see the world. Notice how much clearer this is and how much calmer this is, okay? You will notice now that instead of having like 500,000 filters of things, you have one. It's the inner altar. And this is the inner altar where your spirit is. This is the inner altar where the love that you are is. And it's the whole and complete love that doesn't change to hate. Okay, like this is a whole and complete love of your beingness, of what you are. Okay, this is the inner altar of the Spirit, the Holy Spirit. This is the inner altar of Christ consciousness. Okay, this is where Jesus returned to in his own thinking, knowing himself as God's Son and only God's Son, and knowing himself as a brother and sister soul to us. So he's here to help us to get out of our own darkness and out of our own quote unquote sin, so that we can transcend that ego thought system and really awaken to the truth of our being. Right? So this is where we will get to embody the calm, the peace, the joy, the purpose, the health, the creativity, the forgiveness, the wholeness, the joy, the everything that God promises us, and everything that is true for our soul. Okay, so this is like a soul's reality. You will notice over here that this is very physical body, perceiving with the physical senses reality, where this is perceiving through the spiritual eye reality. This is where you get to see things in its wholeness, okay? This is also then where you have nothing to get because you don't have a filtration system that tells you you're lacking, and you don't have a filtration system that tells you that you're not good enough and that you're unworthy. So because all of those things are gone, you know yourself as an abundant being of light. You know yourself as a child of the universe. You know yourself as love. You know yourself as a child of God. And so because of that, you're whole and you're complete already. So all you have left to do is give. All you have left to do is create. All you have left to do is bless and serve and help and be of service in whatever way that comes. And for some people, that's on a large scale. Some people, that's just with their family. Some people, that's just with their neighbors and their community. And it's right where they are. So it's not like it has to be this big grandiose thing like Jesus did. You got to walk the planet and work miracles. But in learning today what mind training is and also what miracles are, you will notice that it's just shifts in perception. It's shifts in how you see. And you can offer those shifts in perception and shifts in how you see to other people. And that's how you bless and help them. And the more you give, the more you receive. This is the one universal law that is tied into the superconscious God that allows us to live by different laws here than the laws that made up this world. So this is giving as you receive, cause and effect. These are really, really, really important laws that we embody once we go through the mind training process. So what's mind training, y'all? Mind training is when we train our mind to listen to the superconscious voice of spirit instead of listening to the past mind of ego. That is when we start to remember that the truth of my being existed before time and space began. Me being here in this body on this physical plane is temporary. Therefore, I want to listen to what is the truth of my being and the wholeness, and not something that is flimsy and going to change and really wasn't most helpful to begin with. Because if we really look at our parents, how many of our parents know themselves to be whole and complete and loving and listen to the voice of spirit as their predominant voice? Most of us probably not. My parents didn't. They didn't know any better. So they taught me the best way that they could, and they did an amazing job. But a lot of parents struggle because they don't know who they are and they don't have a guidance system, and they struggled and they had trauma and they had pain. So we need to almost like forgive them for not knowing any better and doing the best that they could, and then take that torch in a sense and start now passing it off to other generations of being like, hey, there's another way to live, there's another way to see, there's another way to be, and this is the one that brings happiness and peace for me and for you, which is ultimately like heaven on earth, y'all. So this is our goal. This is what we're working towards. So mind training helps us to clear out this inner sanctuary so that all of this stuff is undone, it's reinterpreted, it's seen differently, and only loving thoughts remain, so that we become this vessel, this conduit, where the superconscious mind can then flow its truth and wisdom and peace and creativity through our filter, and then that becomes what we express outside of ourselves, and it becomes this inside out thing versus outside in. You see how that's different? So what are some mind training techniques? Okay, so there's a few of them that I do on a daily basis, and then there's a few of them that I offer as services to my brother and sister souls who join me in the work that I do. And I have been helping people to train their mind and to come back into their soul and their soul's purpose and their joy and their health for the last 11 years. This is what I'm put on this planet to do, so it makes me very happy. But the first thing that you can do without signing up for sessions with me, which isn't necessary, it's only if your soul's calling to be with me. Otherwise, you've got your own inner guidance system that you can connect with and can heal you on your own. But just sometimes community is helpful. When I heal, we heal together, right? We all heal together. When I heal, I'm not healed alone. So the first thing that I do and have done for mind training that started this whole process for me was just awareness, like becoming aware of what I'm thinking. Mind watching. You can also call this like a mental diet, where you become aware of your thoughts and you refuse to accept any negative thoughts to stick in your mind. You'll see the negative thoughts, you'll see the judgmental thoughts, you'll see the doubtful thoughts, but if you're on a mental diet or you are mind watching, you need to not accept those thoughts. So instead, you let them pass on by like waves in the ocean, or you hand them over to the superconscious, hand them over to the light. I don't want this. Oh, negative thought. I see this. Nope. Hand it over. Oh, negative thought. Nope, that's not true. Hand it over. Nope. And you're constantly just cleansing it out by you being the decision maker for the thoughts that you harbor in your mind. You are the decision maker for the beliefs that take up space in your mind. You're the decision maker. Watch this. Close your eyes for a second. Observe your mind. Okay, it might be still right now because you're listening to me. You might have other thoughts bubble up, and I'm just going to even be still and quiet for 15 seconds, and I just want you to watch your thoughts. Don't judge them, don't change them, don't even try and get rid of them right now. Just look. What are you hearing? What are you seeing? I want you to notice that you're watching your thoughts, you're watching your mind, you're watching what is crossing consciousness. That must mean that you are not your thoughts. You are not what crosses consciousness. That must mean that you are the observer to your thinking. That must mean that you are the decision maker for what thoughts you actually hold on to and what thoughts you actually believe. So when you start to create some distance between your beingness, remember in the superconscious, and your thoughts, and you as the beingness start to decide what thoughts stay and what thoughts can leave, that's how you start clearing out that filter system. And that's how you slowly allow your beingness to become what is centered in your own psyche and not all those filters. So every day, if you remember, I am the witness, I am the beingness, I am the observer, I am the chooser, I am the decider, that puts you in your position of power, and it puts you in the position of being able to clear out those thoughts one thought at a time. And I always find that I hand them over to the light. I say, I don't want this. I give this to you. Thank you for this leaving my mind. All of these ways are energetically as well as mentally how you can clear out that storage container of thinking. Another thing that I do is breath work and hypnosis. I do this both in meditation. They're all kind of linked together, but I do them on my own, and I offer them as part of my Kitchen Alchemy Course and other one-on-one services that I offer. But I find things like breath work, which allow you to have your conscious mind be focused on the breath, or hypnosis, where your conscious mind is focused on my voice, that opens up the container of the subconscious to really heal. And we have to remember that I'm not the healer. You're not even the healer. It's the Holy Spirit in your mind that's the healer. It's the spirit in both of us, the love that is in both of us that heals. So all we have to do is create the conditions for healing, and it happens. All we have to do is be willing for healing to happen, and it happens. And so that starts by us saying yes. It starts by us being like, this isn't working for me anymore. There's so much pain and suffering here. There must be another way. And as soon as we say there must be another way, that's what opens us to healing and to these healing modalities to really have them work. Because when we do breath work and hypnosis and meditation, it's literally a way to bypass the conscious mind into the subconscious mind, and it activates our DNA. Remember all of these things here? We're changing all of these things on in the different levels of our being, so that we create almost like this remembrance of the eternal. We get to have this remembrance of what is whole. We get to have this remembrance of our beauty and our love and our ability to do whatever it is that we're asked to do in this lifetime. And that remembrance is like the truth that is behind our conditioned programming. So it just bubbles up naturally. It just comes to you because it's never going to go away. You are never not part of God. You are never not part of the universe. You're never not part of the love. Like, you are forever and always part of that. Not even like forever, like eternally infinite. So it doesn't matter how many thoughts and beliefs we have that cloud that. Truth is still true, and it's still inside of you. And if you just give your time and your mind over to clear out those channels, you have access to your soul, to your purpose, to truth, to spirit, to God, to love, to Jesus, right? All of these things are available to you. And I found that the simple mind training of watching my mind and choosing what thoughts I want was number one. Really diving into the healing energetic practices like breath work, hypnosis, meditation. If you need help with this, I have links below. I'm here for you. I love you. And then something else that I also do is the process of listening, learning, and doing. And I feel like this is what has brought true healing to me. And there's a part in the Course in Miracles that says, when you cannot tolerate the lack of love in yourself or another anymore, like, it's time to join the Great Crusade. So if you cannot tolerate the lack of love in yourself and you cannot tolerate the lack of love in others anymore, give me a yes below, please. Say heaven on earth below, please. Because this is what led me into listening, learning, and doing. So the first one is listening. So listening to my voice, in a sense, listening deeper, listening to this voice, which is why we need stillness and meditation and prayer and contemplation and reading and quiet time and hypnosis and breath work, is so that we can calm this for a minute and listen to the voice of reason, listen to the voice of spirit, listen to the voice of Christ. So the first one is listen. And I find that listening happens when I ask. So like, I ask to listen, I ask to receive, I ask to know, I ask for healing. Asking is like our ticket, like our superpower, like the key that unlocks the door to listening, learning, and doing. So after asking, we listen to the higher voice, and then we learn to undo error. And that is when we are guided to undo error. And a lot of the time we will have triggers happen in our daily life that bring up the lessons that we need to work with. So it's not like you need to go diving into your past all by yourself. Let your life bring it to you. Remember, it's spirit that's healing you and guiding you, right? So you will be given the signs, and you will be given the triggers, and you will be given the people that are to say things and do things for you in your life to help you to unlock what needs to be healed next. And just do it one at a time. It's not overwhelming. It's just one thing at a time. But we work through it. And that's where you learn to undo error, clear out all this stuff, and then you do as guided, right? And that is when you then do as guided, and you really get to like do in your daily life, whatever you're meant to do. You will do as guided in love in the kitchen. You will do as guided in love in parenting. You will do as guided in love at work. You will do as guided in love with your purpose, or your soon-to-be purpose, because you're developing skills and talents to be able to do your purpose. You will be guided into all the things you're to learn to be prepared for your purpose. Like, you will be guided in everything. And that's the point, is that we have an inner guidance system of love that is never not in our mind to guide us. And when we are vigilant for this voice and only this voice, and vigilant against negative thinking, we are in alignment with the truth of our being. We are in alignment with healing. We will accept our wholeness and health because it becomes our experience and it becomes more natural for us. And anytime we have a shift from this way of thinking to this way of thinking, it's a miracle. And sometimes it just happens shift by shift by shift. Sometimes it happens all at once. It's different for every single person depending on our needs. But this is something that's really important, to know that healing happens when you shift from this mindset to this mindset, knowing that this exists inside of you. It's the spirit, it's the wholeness, it's the Christ, it's the truth, it's the mind of love. That is your identity. That is your birthright. This is where all miracles spring from, really. And then this is just the conditioning, the collective conditioning of the world. And yes, this is in all of us too, but it's not the truth about us. It's not the truth about you. It's just what you've learned. It's what you've been conditioned to know. But question all of it, because it doesn't mean all of it's right. Like, is it bringing you happiness? Is it bringing you peace? Is it increasing your faith? Is it bringing more joy? Are you seeing the synchronicities of the universe? Because if you're not, you're using your filter, and you need to listen, learn, and do. You need to ask for forgiveness. You need to ask for healing. You need to ask for the person that you're meant to work with to help bring you to the next level. Like, it's time for you to realize, I need to do my work because I'm not centered in the wholeness and the creativity and the joy and the purpose and the love of God. And so if this isn't your steady reality, then we need help in healing and mind training. That's just the way that it is for every person on the planet. And to me, that's good news, because there is then a way to happiness that is consistent. There is a way to peace that is consistent. There is a way to living my soul's purpose here and knowing what that is and what that looks like and how to do it properly, right? It's good news to know that we can train our mind and be freed. So you guys, that's the majority of what I wanted to share with you today. There's a lot more that I go in depth with in my Kitchen Alchemy course, as well as my one-on-one coaching, as I've mentioned. So if you're interested in that at all, I have links below. If you just want to meet with me one-on-one for a free 20-minute consultation, I do those too. I'm happy to meet you and get to know you and see if we're the right fit for one another. Otherwise, these are helpful tools that I trust to the spirit in you, and I know that you can already do. And just know as well that one of the main tools that I use, and I know you guys probably use, is the A Course in Miracles. It is a tool for mind training, but I do not believe that it is for everyone at the same time, but if it is for you, know that that is your work, that is your mind training, that is you shifting from one mind to the other mind, that is you clearing out all these spaces through every single lesson that you're applying to your thinking. So that's already something to be grateful to yourself for if you're already doing it, or be open to being curious about it if you want. But just knowing that you have everything you need inside of you already is, I think, the most important thing to Exante Gu. So you don't have to be a course student, you don't have to, be a Christian into the Bible, you don't have to do any of that, but you do have to observe, and you do have to watch, and you do have to tame the mind. And whatever practices, books resonate with you is an added bonus to your healing journey, and it will all support you and it will all help you. But you have the ticket to freedom inside your mind, you have the problem in your mind, and you have the solution in your mind. So that's something to be grateful for, and with the proper guides and resources, you can really heal on all levels of your being. I know this, I experience this, I know this, I see this in my practice with my clients every single day, and I want this for you. I want this for you. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys in my Whole and Healthy Living group for asking this question. You guys wanted to have this today, and I was really inspired to make a video for all of you because of this. So it's a little bit more long form, which I think can be really helpful sometimes. So thank you guys for being here. Let's change our internal representations, that we may really know ourselves and can really show up in our lives for our children, in our kitchen, for our work, with the integrity and the connection to our wholeness and our soul and spirit within, so that we really can be vessels of love and peace and creativity and joy and miracles that this world really needs. And as we give, we receive. So I love you, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this of benefit, please like it, share it with others, comment below. That really helps me and my channel. And I'm going to be having a lot more videos for you guys. The spirit is strong that I need to do more YouTube videos. This is where I shine. And so I really got to stick to what I'm good at and what you people are asking for. And you guys are asking for stuff like this. So it's, again, my universe speaking back to me what I'm realizing. So I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Say what's up to me below as well. I'd be happy to say hello and connect with you and all that good stuff. So peace be with you. I love you. See you on the inside. Bye.